minimal errors, automation in the generation of analysis sheets, real-time access, efficiency, automation in the warehousing of professional work experience, pace control, and personal improvement for the candidate. Now, let me speak on this, even though we'll be seeing it along the way, the automation of the generation of analysis. Now, immediately a candidate in this system, enters in the diary, it automatically generates in the analysis analog system, whereby you come back again, counting the days you've worked and entry them according to the week and days you've worked. I think it makes it easier for us this time around. Let us look at the user platform. We start from the bottom. This is you, the candidate. This is your supervisor. This is the chairman, education and training committee, while this is assessors. You can see them on round table. Now, if you check through the arrows here, you see that there is a flow of communication and a feedback in communication. Now, as the candidate communicates to his supervisors likewise communicate back to him. That's how the communication flows between the candidate and his supervisor. Candidate cannot communicate with the chairman, education and training committee, or any of the assessors. Candidate can only communicate with his or her supervisor, while the supervisor communicates with the chairman, education and training. If you check this arrow, you will see that there is no return of communication. That is to say, once a supervisor submits the logbook, because the supervisor now submits the logbook of his candidate to the chairman, education and training. And once he does that, he cannot have access to the system again. Neither can the chairman communicate to him. Now, between the chairman and his assessors, there is a communication and a feedback. As the chairman appoints his team of assessors, he shares activities for them. Who does what? Who do you supervise? You supervise ABC, you supervise CDE, you supervise EFG, and so on. So immediately an assessor accesses a candidate, and it's true, he sends the feedback, that is, would discuss it back to the chairman, education and training committee, and he alone will have access to the score of that particular candidate that was assessed by an assessor. The digital system, just like the paper-based, centers around the candidate. The candidate is expected to master the following: how to select a supervisor, fill out and submit diary entry, how to write report, how to view analysis sheet, and how to chat with a supervisor. Candidates, please, as we discuss through the candidate, we shall be looking at these 5 points. Pay attention, please. Selecting a supervisor, that's the first thing a candidate will do. Logging into your portal, personal page, on the Institute membership portal, located at this address, a message will pop up like this. Now, for new users, you log in here. While for returning users, you just enter your password and you have access to your page. Click logbook. Now, this is the dashboard of the candidate we are talking about here. The candidate haven't entered previously his password or her password will have this displayed on his or her screen. Click on logbook to proceed to the digitized logbook workspace. Only financially up-to-date members will have this menu. You can see the arrow pointing to the logbook. Now, you cannot be owing partially and you say you have access to your logbook. When we say only financially up-to-date, we mean those who are not owing anything. So you must make sure that you are not owing the institute before you can have access to this. It is very possible when you open, once you are owing, you may not even see the logbook on your dashboard appearing. That means that you are owing. So for you to access the logbook, you must have been financially up to date. Then you will have this on your dashboard. Click on it. So it will display the next slide. This is what the logbook space, what I will display. First timers are required to select supervisors. As you click on logbook menu to select your supervisor, click on this arrow where this is pointing in order to select your supervisor. What you need to do, enter the membership number of your desired supervisor. As soon as you enter it, you can see where the arrow is pointing at. As soon as you enter, his or her details will come up. Then you confirm. Click on this blue button to confirm. Then you have the details of your supervisor as appearing here. This is demo supervisor. Verify the number, the member name, photograph. That is really the person that you wanted to supervise you. Candidates are advised to get the consent of their intended supervisor before requesting them, because immediately you see him, then you click on this button, which is the request. Now, immediately you do that, a message will be sent automatically to the email address of your supervisor, intended supervisor, I mean. Then, after clicking the request, a prompt as shown below will display. This is a confirmation that the request has been delivered to your supervisor. Candidates are advised to follow up with their supervisor for approval, perhaps via call or personal visit. As it pops up, you click on the OK button, which is here. You can see my mouse pointing at it. Selecting supervisor as we continue. At this point, candidates are at liberty to cancel their request if the intended supervisor fails to respond, or in the event that a wrong supervisor is erroneously chosen. You can do this by clicking on cancel request as shown below. This is the button for cancel request. Immediately, once you click here, the request will be canceled. Then you are at liberty of picking another supervisor. If the supervisor accepts, automatically the candidate gets an email SMS notification. Now, once your supervisor accepts, just like he is receiving an automatically generated SMS or email, the same way you will be receiving same to notifying you that he or she have accepted your request. After acceptance, candidates are required to log in to their personal profile to continue. Click Logbook menu to access the Logbook platform. Do the following to enter work experience. 1. You click on the Logbook menu on the left-hand side of your dashboard to fill your diary. Note, the green box in the dashboard below shows progress of candidate entry. Now, as you click on the Logbook menu, haven't gotten your supervisor now, you click again on the Logbook button, this will appear on your screen. Then, this is the stage of Logbook at which you are. We're assuming this demo candidate is on stage 1. As you click on stage 1, this pops up. You can see the number of days, 1 to 5. Dates are arranged, description, just like we have with the manual-based diary. The same you will be having here. Now, the arrow pointing downwards is pointing down through the week numbers. If you're on week 1, you click on 1. If you're on week 2, you click on 2. If you're on week 3, same, it goes through week 52. Candidates should be aware that you cannot fill this logbook in arrears. The only time space that the logbook that this platform has provided for you is 3 months behind. Possibly, maybe you are working at a place that is out of coverage. Now, coming back, you may have 3 weeks to cover for what you've not entered. But once you have exceeded 3 months, once a candidate has exceeded 3 months, he cannot fill backwards. And the candidate, again, cannot fill even if it's a day ahead. For example, today is 11th June 2020. I would not say because I'm coming up now online, let me just fill for tomorrow, June 12th. It will not come up. You can only fill for today and the previous days, which are not later than 3 months backward. Writing your report. After completing the entry, click the Write Logbook Report menu to type in your report. Click Save Report to update. Now, at this point, candidates should know that you can import your report from a Microsoft document, Word, into this page. And may I draw your attention? The format in here is not the format of reporting. Check the content format of report as earlier discussed. While we're discussing the analog system, we gave you a format of reporting and the content. So we are expecting here. This one, we just created it for you to see how it will appear in the sheet, on the space, Now, immediately you click in here to submit your report, the green button. Let us look at a candidate chat with the supervisor. How do you chat with your supervisor? How do you communicate with your supervisor online? Now, immediately at the left corner of your screen, you will see this chat icon. You can see the arrow A pointing at it. Immediately click at it, this just have your message chat while on Facebook using either a desktop or a laptop. This menu B will pop up. Now, at this point, you chat with your supervisor. As you chat, he responds. You chat, he responds. Once he's not online, he may not be able to respond. Immediately you come online, his response will pop up. And there, you will communicate with your supervisor. You can refresh for replies. Once you come out, maybe you log out, you refresh to view replies. Having discussed the candidates, let us look at the supervisor at this time. The supervisor's role. What are the roles of the supervisor in this system? Supervision request. Now, once a candidate submits a request to you as a supervisor, it is your role or duty to respond to the request, either to accept or two, it is your duty to supervise the candidate by verifying his weekly entry and communicating with the candidate via chat. Then the third point, it is your duty as a supervisor to submit his diary and logbook for assessment to the Chairman Education and Training Committee. Responding to requests as a supervisor. Supervisors receive requests from candidates through a system-generated email to their registered email addresses, just like I've earlier stated. The email contains details of the requesting candidate and two options to either accept or decline the request. The request can also be accessed through the logbook system. However, only financially up-to-date qualified members have access to this facility. Somebody may say, why is the institute interested in financially up-to-date? OJ will answer that. To access the page as a supervisor, you need to do the following. One, log into your personal area at this address. Click logbook. This will launch the logbook system. Click supervise candidates to view requests. How many candidates have put up a request to you? Once you click on request, you'll be able to see. You scan through and pick the ones you want to pick. You decline the ones you want to decline. So advisor should know that once a candidate sends you a message, he's expecting you to respond. You cannot go back. It's either you accept them or you decline so that they can have opportunity to request for another person. Responding to requests as we continue. This is what will appear on your dashboard. Demo account as a probationary member, with full details, is requesting that you supervise him. You can see here, you will see his passport photograph or her passport photograph. Maybe you don't know him by name, but by viewing the passport photograph, you may be able to know him. It's either you click on the green button to accept, or you click on this button to decline as a supervisor. Click supervise to view candidate's diary input. Now, we assume that as a supervisor, you've accepted a candidate. Now, you click on the supervise button to view what you need to supervise from your candidate. Demo account, drop candidate, supervise candidate. Now, as communication the candidate had with you, once you come up, you click on this button as well. This icon will pop up. Now, you will see his messages, or perhaps he has not sent you any message. You will now make your observations via this chat to the candidate. Immediately he comes online, he will be able to see these messages you are sending to him or her for correction, possible correction, or onward moving. Click supervise to view candidate diary input. Send chat to candidate to effect correction where necessary. Click accept if you are satisfied with the entry of the candidate. Now, immediately you click accept, the candidate will move to the next week. However, accepted entry cannot be edited. Candidates and supervisors should know that. Once you've accepted that particular entry for that week, it cannot be edited any longer. Communication between the supervisor and the candidate. This system is built with an internal chatting platform that allows supervisor-candidate communication. Use this feature to pass instructions to candidates you supervise. Click the green button, like I earlier said, chat icon at the bottom left of your screen when viewing candidate's entry to send message to the candidate. Submit for assessment. Now, it is assumed at this point that the candidate has submitted 52 weeks or 6 months, as the case may be, for onward submission. Click as a supervisor. You click submit for supervision at the end of the week numbers to make logbook or diary available to the Education and Training Committee chairman. Now, you know that at every week, you click accept. You click this button at every week of the candidate's submission. Now, having reached the last week of his submission, you come here to click submit for assessment. Having accepted his 52nd week, for example, you come here to click submit for assessment. Immediately you click submit, this message, the diary and the logbook will all go to the Education and Training Committee chairman. Once submitted, candidate's professional work experience is ready for assessment. The assessor. Assessor now has access to view and score candidates based on their entry. To exercise this role, an assessor is required to log in through a dedicated page at this address with membership number and password, same as the password for membership portal. Now, it's not everybody that will be an assessor. Just like it is manually that the Chairman Education and Training Committee invites members for this exercise, the same way it goes with the e-system. It is the responsibility of the Chairman Education and Training Committee to invite members for assessment. Now, as an assessor, you will have the opportunity to log in here and view logbooks that are submitted to you by the chairman for assessment. Assessing a candidate as an assessor. You want log in to the e-logbook platform. With successful login, the assessor's dashboard indicates the number of candidates assigned to him or her for assessment. As you log into the dashboard, what comes out is the number of candidates assigned to you for assessment. Click on the Assess Candidate to view pending candidates. Click Assess button below the candidate, you wish to assess his or her logbook display, the score sheet. Now, let me explain this. Let's assume this person have 3 candidates. Maybe we have demo candidates, we have alpha candidate, we have delta candidate, and so on. So he may choose that he wants to start with a delta candidate. So you click on delta candidate. There, his or her details will be displayed to you as an assessor for assessment. Now, you have this. This is criteria which are given to you in this course. You enter and your remarks as an assessor. Having entered all this at this point, you now click to the chairman education and his assessors. As the chairman sends message to you as an assessor, you also send back message to the chairman as an assessor, as an assessor of a candidate. The assessor assessing candidates. I think I've discussed this. This is just showing you how you can view his diary entry week by week up to the last week the candidate is feeling. Just like the candidate did it week after week, you will also view it week after week. This is showing you stage 1, and once you are clicking on stage week 3, it appears at the top here. If it's week 7 will appear at the top here. You also view his report, just like he entered his report. The same way you will view the report. Check it is according to the format. You go back here and enter score for the report with your remarks as well. Assessor assessing candidates. Let us look at this. Having done that, you click on this button as me, Chairman Education and Committee. Thank you very much for listening. Before I close, this is just a route showing you the PGD, the QS, PGD, QS, BSc QS, PGD, QS road to qualification, which is the TPC road. And this is the HND QS road to qualification, which is the GD examination road. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, QS Jonathan Alwashu, for a very well delivered presentation. Amongst the panelists, does anybody have any thing to add to what QS Alwashu has just presented? amongst the panelists? Secretariat, can they hear me?
Mr.
Secretariat.
Chairman, sir.
Yes, QS Awolesi. QS Awolesi,
Yes,
please go on.
let me thank the presenter. Let me thank the presenter and also thank the NIQS for this laudable exercise. The presenter has done a very good job, because when you took us through this training, the last time we came to Abuja, all once we land there, he has even added a bit of the thing to it. So I want to thank him very much. I don't have anything to add, just to commend him.
Thank you very much. What are any other person among the panelists before we go to the participants? Okay, we have a couple of questions already trending on the platform. I saw a question from one Ade, is it Ade somebody, Miss Baudin Adebayo. That's, I'm coming from the rear now. He said, okay, he said, is there any limit to the number of candidates to be supervised? That's a question from Ms. Baudin Adebayo. Jonathan Alwashil, we dealt with this yesterday. Please answer him.
I muted myself. Okay. Just like we responded when we had a meeting with the North Central Zone, the limit of supervision is 3 candidates. A supervisor is limited to 3 number candidates per submission session. Thank you, sir.
Good. Another question from Shegun Eluyemi. Shegun Eluyemi. How do we get information about getting a supervisor? Secretariat, OJ. We've answered, so just respond to him. We answered, that was 2 days ago when we had the North Central. So respond to him. How do we get info about getting a supervisor?
Yes, the information about supervisors will be provided on the Institute's website. For you to know supervisors, members that are up to 5 years post-MNIQS and their location. So it will now be left for you to identify one and familiarize yourself with the very person, because you ought to know who your supervisor is. You don't just choose someone you cannot develop a relationship with. You need.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. I think that is thank you. Then we have another question. I think this one is talking about from one Olatide Afolabi. He said candidates who have started filling their logbooks for stage 3 in January. What did he say again? He said, are they eligible to migrate to the EAT platform? Secretariat, we've answered this one again 2 days ago. So clear the air for him, for Olatide Afolabi.
We talking about candidates who are to begin filling from January this year. Those ones are supposed to fill the manual book. Only candidates who are commencing from July 2020 will fill the digital logbook. If you are commencing that stage in July 2020, please, you will migrate to the digital logbook space. Any other candidate who is commencing earlier than July will do the manual one. I hope this will satisfy the question.
Okay, then another one from one QS Malik Raji. He said, okay, this one I maybe just making a request. He said, I hope this video will be sent to our email. Secretariat.
Let me answer that.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
There's a recorded version. After the training sessions, we would share the link to members to download and then
Okay.
have a good look of it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, good. Then I think Eniola Akintunde had to take up her own. I don't know if it's a he or a she. Eniola Akintunde. He said, in selecting a supervisor, how do we ensure that the person has the required qualification? Of course, I think that has been answered. That has been answered. Then I think there are several other questions. Let me check now. He said, thank you for, I want to know what happens in the event the supervisor fails to click accept for about 2 or 3 weeks. Jonathan, QS Jonathan, go answer him. Answer Oluwasegun Oloye. Hello?
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
So as a candidate, like I earlier said, there's a particular time limit that your supervisor will accept you. Now, should your supervisor refuse to accept you or decline, as a candidate, you may haven't met him on personal ground and yet he has not responded to your request. You are free to I say delete the request or cancel the request?
I'll make another.
Then you check another supervisor. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Then another question from Joseph Animam. He said, how will some supervisors who are not part of the training be able to assess the candidate? Secretariat, OJ.
130. Okay, give me my number. Give me my number. Because
somebody's interfering with what is happening.
Okay, I think it's better now. This question, I think it's something we would have to look from this angle, because we have made this notice available to all members to join in this training. It is expected that both supervisors and candidates would join so that they understand what this trend is all about. Now, for a supervisor who does not know how to go and navigate the digital logbook space, he will definitely need to train himself by viewing the available materials to provide on the website. We will put these training sessions again on the website. We'll have them on the website. The slides will be available there, and such supervisors will need to get themselves trained by themselves now at this point.
And you have to put a proviso. If they need any clarification, they can get in touch with the secretariat.
Yes, of course, the secretariat is available.
Okay.
But it would be nice if they are here.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Then there is one question. I'm not sure they fill this in. I'm not sure this person is with us. He said, thanks for this session. For people who are to represent due to ineligibility of previous supervisor, how can they fill the previous 6 months? There is no filling in arrears now. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
He said, how can they fill the previous 6 months if the filling is only in 3 months arrears? Secretariat, answer them. The candidates should know that they will not fill logbooks in arrears. They should know this by now.
Waiting up until 6 months before you verify the status of your supervisor, I think that is too long. You ought to make that confirmation early enough before you start. And on the digital logbook space, it is almost impossible for you to
even commence without
to even commence without having a supervisor that is qualified. So these challenges we have on the manual logbook are not on this digital space. Automatically, it screens the supervisor to ensure that this supervisor is financially up to date and 5 years post-MNIQS. These are the core qualifications that you need to be a supervisor. Once the supervisor merits this, you can select the person. Now, if you have a need to change that very supervisor again, you have to make your complaints known early enough. You don't wait for so long before you complain to the committee.
Okay, good. There's okay, I won't take this one. He said anonymous. We don't do a point of office on this platform is not supposed to be anonymous. Anonymous. So I'll go to the next one.
Sure.
Kainde Oyelamin. Are those in the academics allowed to feel their Okay. Kainde Oyelamin. Are those in academics allowed to fill their activities and classes in terms of lectures delivered to students in the logbook? If yes, are such activities captured in the sheet? Jonathan.
Okay. Thank you, sir. But before I respond to him, let me add to what the response that OJ gave that candidate that was asking what of supervisors that are not on this platform. That is why if you can check through all the 6 geopolitical zones, we have facilitators. So we encourage chapter chairmen, YQSF coordinators to organize seminars, particularly for this training, so that they will have more supervisors within their region. Now, coming to this question, if the candidate checks very well, or let me take him back from when this compulsory 3 years logbook started in 2012. Before now, a candidate can sit at the comfort of his home within a week or 2 to submit a logbook and diary for 3 years. Now, when this system started in 2012, what was said was that you have a chain of activities between A, B, C, D, and E. That's activity categories. It is expected that the candidate will familiarize himself with a practicing firm somehow to gain this experience so as to help him in filling his or her logbook. As a lecturer, let me use our office for example. Our office, we've had lecturers, I will not mention the institutions, that have come to our hard training with us to gaining the experience. That is what is expected of these lecturers. You are free to enter what you have been teaching your candidates, but while filling the logbook itself, you notice that you have not spread out knowledge areas. So you're only covering a particular area, which is a deficiency to you as a candidate. So my advice to such a candidate is to get himself or herself acquainted with a practicing firm or construction firm where he or she can negotiate either weekends or once in a week to get the practical knowledge so that I can apply it in the diary. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Then we have a question again from Anthony Ugbewe. I'm presently filling my logbook for stage 2 to be submitted by February. To be submitted by February 2020. Is there any need for me to move on with the digital platform? OJ.
Hello?
Yes, OJ, did you hear me?
Can you check that again, sir?
I am presently filling my logbook for stage 2 to be submitted by February 2020. Is there any need for me to move on with the digital platform?
The candidate does not need to move to the digital platform now. It doesn't have to. It has to be on the manual. All those who are moving to the digital platform will
have to be from July.
1st of July 2020. So all those who are already filling the manual ones, they should continue until the end. Those who are filling manual now have to continue till the end.
Another question from Yusuf Alim. Thanks for the presentation. My question is based on the sign-up page for a candidate. You said an intended probationer member must be a financially up-to-date member. How is that possible, sir? God Almighty. Salisu.
OJ, you answer that one.
Okay. OJ.
An intended probationer must be financially up to date.
You say, how is that possible, sir?
I think grammar is what we should now look at.
We did not say, Mr. OJ.
Yes.
There's no way we said intended probationer. There is no way.
There is no intended probationer.
That's why I
got
that intended.
A probationer is a probationer.
I think that grammar there is a candidate and not intended probationer. If you are still intending to be a probationer,
that means you are not a member.
You are not a member yet.
The logbook space will not even accept you because you don't have a membership number to key in. Before you can key in, you must be a member before you can log in, and before you can view that logbook button on your page, you must have been financially up to date as at that time. If you're not financially up to date, you won't see the logbook button there. And if you're not a member, you can't even log in to see it.
Okay. Another question from Kehinde Oyelamin.
Okay.
Sorry, the soft copy.
VP sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Okay,
go ahead.
Maybe I use a statement. What I mean there is that a professional who intends to start filling logbook. That's what perhaps I use that statement. Maybe. What I mean is that a professional who intends to start filling logbook as at 1st July. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Can the soft copy of this slides be sent to our email address? Of course, it will be on there.
I answered that question on the question and answer spot. The recording will be made available and the slides too will be made available after the training sessions.
Okay. Olubi, okay. How do you get to know your performance? Since there is no feedback from the education chairman to the supervisor. This man is looking for his pool. OJ.
Hey.
Secretariat.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Somebody wants to know he wants to know the answer from before the question.
Performance.
Is it how do you get to know your performance since there is no feedback from the education chairman to the supervisor?
You see the
result is the feedback.
He wants to know his result before he start answering.
The result is the feedback.
I think this
QS Awolesi, please answer him.
No, I'm trying to say that the feedback is the result. So you should wait for the results.
Yes, thank you very much. That's the answer. Vincent Omotosho say, what is the time span? What is the time span required for the supervisor to assess for weekly activities for approval? Jonathan.
Okay.
Jonathan.
That should be within the week.
Immediately.
Okay. Who is speaking? Is it Opara?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please go ahead.
I said that should be within the week because if it is a weekly activity, it means that the weekend of that, the result must come back to the candidate from the supervisor.
Okay. I think that answers the question.
Yeah.
Any addition? Does anybody want to add any other thing?
So immediately the candidate drops his report, his diary for assessment for that week. The supervisor should immediately...
This is an addition to what QS Okpara has said.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
So it should be immediately the candidate submit. The supervisor should respond immediately by responding back to him. However, it may be possible that as at the time the candidate is sending the message to his supervisor, the supervisor is out of coverage area. So it may take up to a week or so, but it shouldn't take longer.
Within the week.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. The same thing you said. There is a question from Kehinde Oshu. He said, would there be any penalties for failure of a supervisor to assess a report sent at the end of a week? Jonathan. QS Jonathan Al-Washil. Did you hear that question?
Chairman.
Yes.
Can we jump that question?
Huh? Why would you tell him?
Okay, that was on a lighter.
That
was on a lighter note. Now, as a supervisor, we've said it to supervise the candidate once you have accepted him. And we gave out those 3 point functions of the supervisor. Now, if it fails to supervise the candidate, as far as this the Education and Training Committee yes, sir.
Okay,
are you with me, Chairman?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a committee, we've not discussed that. What I candidate and fails to do that, I think the next should look into it, perhaps, to see what they can do to the supervisor.
No. Once the supervisor, it is obvious that the supervisor is not interested in supervising the candidates, and it is only wise for the candidate to quickly leave that supervisor and look for another supervisor.
Even if they have gone far, let's say, for instance, they have reached about third month in supervision, and along the way,
that's what we need to work out. We have to work it out.
Yeah.
And then
let me come in, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
The diary that is recorded before the change of supervision still remains. So if a supervisor is changed, the new supervisor can continue
from that stage.
Existing record, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's the essence of that.
That settles it. So there is room for changing of supervisor even within the period of the candidate filling the logbook. Okay, there's a question from
for very cogent reasons.
Yes, for cogent reason. There's a question from Anetu Richard. Your lecture is well appreciated. Please, can one have access? Okay, we have answered this question. Another one from Michael Olorufemi. Is it possible to get a copy? I think we have answered this one too. Adeola Livingstone Akintoye. Sir, can we say candidates who are to represent their stage 1 in June submission are also no. Those who are starting from July. We've answered this question too. I think we've answered this question. Then Ibrahim, another question from Ibrahim Aladejobi. Sir, thanks a lot for the presentation. With this new development, I hope we won't be paying for assessment fees. Secretariat.
No.
Secretariat.
I'm here. I think this one is a very simple question. Even in Freetown, nothing is free.
Of course.
But how can the man
assessors must come on? They must need data.
We are putting the bills for running this on the website. We are also going to pay assessors. So how do we carry on if we don't charge the stipend? The assessment fee we also ask for is small. That's just 3,000 naira.
In fact, now they should even pay more because they don't have to do any postages or travel all the way to come and submit.
Yeah.
And you're not buying the logbook again. So we'll just take only assessment fee for now.
Okay. So assessment fee is sustained. So yes. Who is these are anonymous? What can the point surveyor? Okay, we'll jump in. Alimi Wasiu Olalekon, question from Alimi. He says, sir, in a chapter where we have more students than the eligible supervisors, how do we go about it? Supervisor now, this thing is you can pick supervisor. Jonathan, answer the question, please.
Okay.
Here's Jonathan Alwashio.
We had this on Monday. Was it Monday or Tuesday? Yeah.
It was on Tuesday.
Yeah. If you have that's why it's a key system. You may choose to have your state chapter. As long as he knows you, you have a good rapport with him, you can have your supervisor out of your state chapter and he or she will still supervise you. That's all I have to say. OJ, why they laugh?
Okay, then we have Oluwafemi Odunlade. Hello, sir. For those who had first logbook stage on analog, are we to validate the next stage? Of course, yes. If you are starting from July again, yes. Yeah. Let us, that one is, then we'll have Abdullah Inuhu Jega. Is it possible for a candidate delay his e-logbook filling till month ends more, but not later than 3 months? OJ. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Did you hear the question?
I didn't get it clear.
Is it possible for a candidate to delay his e-logbook filling till month ends more, but not later than 3 months?
I think this question has been answered.
That's true.
The digital space allows you to fill 3 months in arrears. So what it also means is that you can fill for that period of 3 months. What the logbook rule says is that you should have, I think, minimum of 3 or 4 contacts with your supervisor within the whole period. Because we do understand that it might not be possible for you to see your supervisor on a daily basis. However, this digital space allows you to do weekly. But in a situation where that is not possible, you cannot delay the logbook for more than 3 months with you without your supervisor seeing it.
Good.
Okay. VP, let me add something, Chairman, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to advise this candidate. As a supervisor, I know how tedious it is to check in a diary if you want to do a thorough check, So for your supervisor to have ample time in checking your diary, don't overburden him with activity. Don't pile up your activities for a long time before sending to him. Your supervisor may be busy with other things. So advise the candidate, let him try as much as possible not to pile up activities before sending to his supervisor.
Very good. That's a very valid contribution. Another one from Oluwaseun Adebesin. He said, good morning, sir. I am about to start filling my logbook to cover the year 2020. I hope I can still take it from January 2020. OJ.
It is expected that this candidate should have been filling his logbook before now.
That's true.
Now, if it doesn't have a logbook, it should be keeping this record somewhere. Maybe in a log, maybe with a notebook or something. But it has to be a supervised recording. It's not possible for you to wait till the end of the period and then you just rush.
Before you start filling all of them.
In fact, the digital logbook platform will mitigate against this. Because we are aware that candidates are doing that. They wait for a whole period of 12 months and then they fill the logbook in one night.
In a rush.
So we want to mitigate against this, this
then,
bad behavior.
Okay, from Infinix Hot S, this one is from his phone. He says, how frequently are we to fill logbook digitally, daily, weekly, or monthly? Clarification, please. Al-Washil, QS Al-Washil.
Simply, it is your choice. If you want to be filling daily, today, 11th June 2020, log in and fill and submit. Tomorrow, 12th June, log in. But I will advise him to be doing it weekly. It will be better for him as a candidate to do it weekly.
Okay. Weekly is a more preferable way to go. Ola Sukomi Baba Tokwe says, my suggestion is that the video recording of this session should be aggressively promoted. have Oluwaseun Osineye. I think that question was misinterpreted. The candidate is asking for, they say the candidate is asking for those that failed logbook and we asked to represent for 6 months. How would the 6 months be captured? OJ.
Now, what is required for you to do on the digital logbook space is to fill for the period you have been expected to fill. If you're filling for the first time, it's 12 months, 52 weeks. Now, if you're filling, if you're for reassessment, it's only for 6 months. So let's say the candidate was asked to represent sometime in July, say July 2020. The candidate is expected to now fill for 6 months from that July to February 2021. So okay. That's it. This is the rule. You won't fill more than that. You're not filling for a whole year or shorter than 6 months.
Okay, good. Then Samson Pupola says, good morning, sir. If we can't fill the logbook in arrears, how will a candidate that has not passed the previous assessment and he needs to represent and submit in July be able to fill the logbook for assessment? OJ, did you get that question?
Come again, sir.
If we can't fill the logbook in arrears,
hello, please come again, sir. It's breaking.
How will a candidate that has not passed the previous and he needs, if we can't fill the logbook in arrears, how will a candidate that has not passed the previous assessment and he needs to represent and submit in July be able to fill the logbook for assessment?
I don't get this candidate because this question, I think, is repeating the same thing.
Yes.
If you submit your logbook for assessment in July, hopefully before the end of that July, the logbook result will be out. And then the logbook platform allows you to fill maximum of 3 months arrears. So whatever you've done from that July onward, you can still fill. So there is no challenge at all there.
Okay, this person is saying, I am Anthony Chisom, please. But I saw Antonio Ugbewi. He says Chisom. Okay, maybe he has changed Ugbewi. He said is Anthony Chisom. Please, I am presently filling my logbook for stage 2 to be submitted by February. We have answered this question now. Is there any need for me to move on with the detail? We have answered this question. Okay, then Yusuf Ahmad. Okay, thank you, sir. But can I fill from January to July? Will it suffice for stage 3 logbook? OJ.
Yes.
So from January to July.
Yes,
no.
Speak on.
To cover for 7 months.
Is he resubmitting?
Yes, I think he's resubmitting for stage. Yes, go ahead.
If he's resubmitting and he was asked to resubmit, say in February this year, he can fill that January to June or February to July. Is acceptable.
It is February to July.
Okay, February to July.
Yes.
And not January to July.
No, because you do resubmission after the result. You don't do resubmission before the result.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Oluwatobi Kolawole, if a particular description of works fits into 2 codes, is it okay to put it per day on the? Is it okay to put it per day on the logbook? This is not clear, but QS Alwashi, did you understand that?
Yes, I do understand. We noticed that even at the last submission, some candidates enter 2 codes at a time. To me, I think you don't need to do that as a candidate. Nobody will give you laurels for doing 3 activities in a day. Just pick one code and enter it for that day.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody's giving you any award for doing 3 activities, different activities in a day, and you enter them on the same day. Just pick one that you want to do and go away with it. If not, when you come to your diary, you may be having confusion there.
Okay.
To the logbook analysis.
We have Yusuf Ahmad. He said, I submitted third stage, that's stage 3, this February, and was asked to resubmit because I filled it against 2018. Kindly advise on how best to fill it this July again. OJ.
Meet your supervisor now.
That's exactly the question we have asked before now. They should start the submission from February to July and submit.
To July. Okay.
Hello?
That's February 2020.
OJ, you want to ask something?
I hope I'm in order.
I want to add something.
Okay, go ahead.
It depends on what this candidate situation is. If he was asked to represent, it is for 6 months. But in a situation where he was not assessed at all, because he submitted, intervened, he has to submit for 12 months.
Okay.
So the candidate has to be clear on what exactly his situation is. If it is for a submission, he's been asked to represent, it's for 6 months. But if he's been told that he contravened and the one he submitted before was not assessed at all, he's going to submit for 12 months.
For 12 months, good. That's a good clarification. I hope Yusuf Ahmad is listening. Okay, Awal Badru said, sir, do you mean candidates who are to start using the digital logbook are people starting stage 1 by July 1st, 2020? Yes, any stage, July 1st, 2020. Samson Popola says, good morning, sir. If we can't fill the logbook in arrears, no, I think we have answered this question. No? In arrears, how would a candidate who that has not passed? No, we have answered this one. Then this one is Bruno Ume Okafo. Bruno Ume Okafo. Please, sir, are people who are yet to submit logbook 1 allowed to use this procedure? Everybody is allowed to use the procedure. Every stage is allowed to use the procedure. Karen Alakija, please, sir, someone submitted her form in January and hasn't gotten her probational number. Please, sir, when is it likely to be sent so she can join the July batch? OJ, somebody submitted in January and hasn't received the number. What is the problem?
Submitted in January.
This question is asked by one Karen Alakija.
For those who submitted their forms late in January, they would receive their membership number any moment from now. I think the membership committee is done with their consideration, and very soon the next will give approval for their membership.
Okay, good.
Let them just
so they can join the July batch.
They can join the July batch, and if they have kept records of what they've been doing,
please do everything to facilitate it so that they can join.
Yes.
Michael Olorufemi, please, what happens if a candidate wants a change of supervisor? We have answered this question, but the supervisor refuses. but the supervisor refuses. There's a problem here. Is the candidate still at liberty to move on to his or her new? Why would there be a problem between? And the candidate, the supervisor doesn't want to leave. The candidate should go and find out the problem and resolve with his supervisor. Maybe he's a lazy candidate who has a supervisor that wants that is unbendable. I think under these circumstances, the candidate should find a way to. You must ab initio ensure that you get a supervisor that you can work with, know the meaning of the supervisor, establish a relationship by way of interfacing properly with him, so that to avoid this kind of friction in the middle of the process. This one is from Michael Olorufemi again. To be very clear, please, what is the manual feeling of, sorry, to be very clear, is the manual feeling of workbook coming to a complete, yes, it's coming to a complete end in July 2020. We no longer, the essence of this training is to let candidates know that by July, we are fully migrating from the analog system to the digital system. So by July 2020, we expect that every candidate would have migrated to the digital system. Then we have Kola Wole Olani Wola said, he said, in a situation where a candidate who has not scaled through a stage and was advised to fill for 6 months, but couldn't do so as stipulated due to change of location and inaccessibility to current supervisor who is in different political zone, will the candidate still be allowed to fill for the 6 months as stipulated earlier, or the candidate will fill for the whole year again? Secretariat, OJ.
The candidate has to be very clear on this. Now, if you've been asked to resubmit, no matter what, you are going to submit for 6 months. Now, if you were supposed to submit in July, for example, ensure that the records you are submitting are for current period. For example, you are filling from January or February to June or July. That is for resubmission. Now, if you were asked to resubmit in July, you must also ensure that your records will contain from that July to February.
I hope you get the question. He said if he has relocated to another zone, another geopolitical zone.
It doesn't matter. If he relocates and he cannot fill, if he has lost the 6 months, the next 6 months he will have to use it.
Good. Okay. Then we have Ikechi Evans. Hello, sir. Please, I'm a little bit confused with your response on a... You want to say something? Anybody wants to say something? I should go ahead.
Go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. This is from Ikechi Evans. Please, I am a little bit confused with your response on a particular issue. Question 1. Those candidates who have done stage 1 with analog, will their stage 2 still be analog or digital? Clarification, please. Question 2. I think let me finish.
The answer that was given before, I think, is very clear. We told you that if you have done your stage 1 and you're filling your stage 2 beginning from 1st of July 2020, it has to be on the digital workspace. If you have begun filling before that date, it will be manual. But if the commencement date is going to be anytime from 1st of July 2020 upward, it will be on the digital platform.
Okay, good. Then his second question is, I got my probational number in February. Am I to fill digitally or by analog?
This is simple. You got your probational number in February.
Yeah.
This is you fill on the manual platform, please, because you are already eligible to start filling.
To start from that February. Okay. Then another question from the same Abdullahi Nuhu, one QS Abdullahi Nuhu Jega. He said, is it possible for a candidate to start his e-log book filling on stage 1 by July 2020, backdate it to January 2020, Secretariat?
No, sir.
Impossible.
Okay. The answer is no, a big no. Who is this anonymous that no, I mean that's before these people, why can somebody be? Then we have the last question, I guess, from Abdul Sabur Abiodun Faleye. Is it our own? Oh, no, not our the other one is Ayodele. Abdul Sabur Abiodun Faleye. Thank you for organizing training sessions for a candidate who intend to submit stage 2 in 2020. For a candidate who intend to submit, sorry, I think I missed it too.
Want to submit stage 2.
Oh, you deleted it?
Let me read this out for you. Thank you for organizing training session. For a candidate who intend to submit stage 2 in July 2020, will he or she continue with the manual logbook or the e-logbook?
This question has been answered.
Manual,
same answer.
This question has been answered. Then I think the last question we have here is from Esther Ebuno Ebun Olua. I've passed stage 1 and 2. Now about to fill stage 3. What should I do?
I think this is a straightforward question, and the answer is also straightforward. We've told you the last assessment that was done was in February. Let's assume that she got her result, her stage 2 result in February. She can commence filling on the manual from February to January next year. That will be manual. Had it been she's commencing the filling in on the 1st of July 2020, everything will
then she will go digital.
But now she's expected to have started filling
since February. Yeah. Okay. I think Salisu, are there more questions?
No, this is the last question on the list.
Okay, that
we just attended to.
Last question. Okay, you who can get in touch with the participants, tell them if anybody has if there are no questions, then we can continue.
At this point, no question, no raising of hand. But for clarity also, let me add this, that the e-logbook system, as we have always iterated, is to commence from July this year. So if you are intending to submit for assessment in February next year, then you are expected to continue with your manual process without the paper-based logbook. But if your starting point is within the period of July onward, that's when you are expected to migrate to the digital system.
Okay.
Because the first assessment on the digital system will be July 2021.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Based on the period. Thank you.
Okay. Is QS Awales is on the platform? QS Awales, yes, if you are here, say a final word. Say a final word.
Well, once again, I want to thank NIQS for this opportunity. Then I would like to say that for those of us that are resource people at various geopolitical zones, the chairman within that area should find a way of getting us organized together and arrange for further training. And I think the chairman can do the coordination of that aspect. Thank you very much. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Is QS Victor Para still on the platform? Is QS Victor Para still on the platform?
Yes, I think he's away from the device, but still connected.
QS Victor Para, please, the final word. QS Victor Para, unmute yourself and give us the final word.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the Institute and the committee for this initiative. My Vice Chairman, thank you very much. Yes, and like as I was saying, I want to thank the Institute and the committee, and more importantly, my chair for this initiative. It is hoped that with this initiative, there will be less stress and less hustles for our candidates aspiring to be qualified quantity surveyors. Thank you, and God bless us all.
Thank you. I can see Lagos chapter chair, QS Ayuba Akere. Is he still on the platform?
Yes.
The flagship chair. Please, a word from you, a last word.
My Vice President, members of the panel, and attendees, I greet you all. We thank the Institute for this initiative. And like we all know, online is the main thing, and that is the way to go.
Thank you.
The analog has to come to an end. So I will employ everybody to follow suit and do as we have been told. I noticed that I'm the only chairman here. I'm not sure if the other chairman from the
That's why you are the flagship now. That's why you are the flagship.
But we are all expected to be here. Anyway, I've only said that so that you can also arrange at the zonal level further trainings as suggested by Kiyosa Ulese. Once again, thank you very much for this, and we hope to take it up from there.
It's not easy to be a flagship chairman. Thank you. You're welcome. What of
thank you, sir.
Thank you. What of QS Dr. Adele? Did she come on board?
No, sir. She's not.
Okay. What of QS Obiwale?
Tell the chairman I was on board. He didn't see me. I was with him sitting there. He didn't see me. Still, he didn't mention my name. He didn't call me.
What of QS Obiwale?
All of you.
Yes, sir.
Is QS Obiwale on board?
Okay, we can.
Hello?
No.
Secretariat. Secretariat.
No, sir.
Is QS Obiwale on board?
No, it's not. It's not connected anymore.
Okay. QS Aluashil.
Yes, sir.
Who is in your office with you?
Yeah, Mr. Ria said he was with us. Yeah.